You know, I keep joking that winter's coming, but actually it is. And for people that heat with a wood stove, there's a lot of prep that goes into that. So today is my day. I'm going to clean up the stove. I'm going to sweep out my chimney. And I thought I'd bring you along so you could see, exactly how I do it. If this is your first year heating with wood, it might help you out getting your stuff together. But, I'm not a wet certified technician, so don't, take it with a grain of salt. This is how I do things. It's not necessarily how everybody does things. So anyway, come along. There's a lot of work to do. Let's get at her. So the first thing we got to do is shovel out all the ash and everything from over the summer. And sometimes, if you have some letters and stuff that you need to burn up, then you'll put them in the stove and you'll burn them up in here. So, you accumulate a bit of ash through the year, and you got to get it out of here. You got to clean it all up. Do a good job. The funny thing is, actually, I'll probably get a full bucket out of this. For your ash can, you really want to have a double-lined ash can if you can find them. But funny enough, I found they're kind of harder to find lately, these ash cans. But I've had mine a long time, and just one of these old ash shovels that you could get, anywhere. Home Depot, Home Hardware, any country stores got them. You really want to make sure you get in every crevice. Get as much out as you can. If you're making a bit of a mess on the outside of the stove, you got some ash falling out, don't worry too much about that. Don't get stressed out, because kind of like this. Oh, I'm making a mess. Yeah, so we're gonna follow this up anyway with the ash vacuum, which we'll talk about, and you can get that all up from there. Now my stove's a Hearthstone stove, and its draft is right here in the center. It's just a hole, and you want to make sure you clean out around that very well. Don't leave anything near that, because if you want good performance out of your stove, you have to be able to accurately control the draft. You don't want to always be wondering if your fire's going to smother out on you. Just because you didn't take the extra 30 seconds to clean it out. All right, well, that about does it. Let's swap over to the ash vacuum, and then we'll get the rest of this inside cleaned out. Then we can move up top. So this is my ash vacuum. It's a shop vac brand ash vacuum, and it's a metal canister, and on the inside of the vacuum assembly is a fine metal filter, and that doesn't let the ash go through. So basically, you can vacuum up all the fine ash out of your stove, and it won't get into the house. Well, not as bad as it normally does from using a wood stove, but let's get this all vacuumed up. There, so as you can see, nice and clean in there. The funny thing about this stove is that it actually has a metal grate at the bottom, and that actually can slide forwards and it opens up, and then there's a tray that comes out of the bottom. But I don't really use it that much, so as you can see, I didn't get every bit of ash out of that because it's kind of difficult. The other thing you want to look for is your rope. Your rope, the gasket that seals all your doors. Mine's actually getting a bit old. I'll probably be replacing that next year. Maybe I even should do it this year, but I'm not. Make sure that's good. It's got to be a bit pliable so that when you close it up on the stove, it makes a good seal. There's rope there, and there's rope along the inside of the glass as well. You got to be wary of both of those. As well, I'm going to clean up this glass. I've got some pretty heavy chemicals that clean up this soot and the creosote off the glass, and I might even show that. So now I'm going to open up the top and we'll see what's on the inside of one of these stoves. Okay, now so here's the tricky bit. As you can see, the stove pipe comes down and fits over the collar, or has a collar that fits over the stove, and you got to undo these screws and slide this whole collar upwards. And as you can see, I'm not very good at the tricky part because it's all scratched up. That just comes from the paint that's on the stove pipe getting scratched up when you move this pipe up. The pipe can be kind of tricky to get up and down, especially if there's a lot of creosote in the pipe. So that's just something you gotta be prepared to live with. You'll be painting your stove pipe. In fact, I need to do that here soon anyway myself. There. So I'll see if I can show you what the inside of the stove looks like. I don't know if my camera will do it or not. So as you can see, going into the stove, there's an outlet on the back, which would be for a rear exhaust or a rear stovepipe. Mine comes straight out the top. And what you're actually looking at here, right here, is the top of the baffle. This is a reburning stove, and what'll happen is the fire hits that baffle and goes up and around it. And by hitting that baffle, on the underside of that baffle, there's tubes that are perforated, and it'll actually burn the particulate that's in the smoke. And as you can see, there is a fair amount of creosote on the inside of this. So when I get to sweeping this chimney, you're going to see quite a big bag full of creosote. But for now, I'm just going to get in here with the vacuum. We'll get it all vacuumed out, all up in top here. That's kind of hard to see, I'm sorry. And then we can move up to the roof and I'll show you how to sweep. So to sweep the chimney, you need a chimney brush. Mine's a stainless steel stovepipe, so I got to use a nylon or a composite brush. If you use a steel brush, it's just going to mar the inside and it's going to ruin your pipe. So you get it on fiberglass rods, and they screw together to make, longer lengths. I'm lucky, my stovepipe is straight, just straight from the stove up through the ceiling and out. So I only need 2 lengths. I got off cheap, but this is going to be your tool. This is going to be the only tool you need up on the roof, provided your storm cap's not screwed down. So let's get up there and I'll show you, just how much I love ladders. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. So here's the top tip for avoiding a little bit of arse puckering on a ladder, is make sure that you have a few rungs above the roof line so that when you get up, you got something to grab onto and step over on. And then you also want to pass your brush up, if you can, to where you don't have to carry it up and over. So just get up and you can step over and away you go. There you go, getting you the shots that the other YouTube channels won't do. Now that you're if you didn't shit yourself getting up here, then now you're golden, because now you can stand up here, you can get comfortable, get a couple breaths, feel good about it. First thing we're gonna do take the storm cap off. Now most of them just fit right in, so you don't have to do much prying with them. Mine just fits right in. Place that down so it doesn't go. You can take your brush, and it is simple as this. Push it down, ruin your eardrums. Push it down till it reaches the collar. Give it a push. And now you're down all the way. Now give it a yank, pull it back up. And that's pretty much it. It only takes a couple swipes. I like to do another one just for good measure. I seem to have a little blockage. And there you go. And then down through the bottom. Don't worry too much about the bag. I haven't had much bad luck ruining the bag at the bottom, so. And then that's it. That is literally it. So now all you got to do is worry about getting down without, you know, having an accident. And then you're done. Oh, okay. Oh, I hate this shit. Why can't they just make elevators? Getting up and down. All right. Oh, Jesus. And if you don't forget half your stuff up on the roof, then you're done. There. There we go. There we go. There. We survived. Praise be. So there you have it. We survived. Another year in the books. That's all it takes. If you do that once a year, then you're going to be in fine style. You'll never really have any risk. And if you're really afraid of ladders, don't worry too much about it. You know, in my past, I've been a volunteer firefighter, and I've done all the ladder training, second story bailouts and all that. And you know, I still don't like ladders all that much. So I cannot blame you if you do. It's not so bad. You get up and down it a few times, you start to get a bit comfortable. And you only got to do it once a year. Like I said, you know, it keeps it clean enough. You're not going to be any risk. You can have a ripping hot fire and not have to worry about, you know, having that old jet airplane blasting flames out your storm cap. So we're ready for the year. And hey, leave a comment below if you want to see a review on my stove, Hearthstone stove, and I'll give you a full walkthrough of it. Thanks for watching, everybody.